Let me continue with the permission of the chair. Maybe a few. Well, my questions are really with Philrem as well, no? But since they're not here yet, and the messenger, because they are key to this as well, no? Very important. That's why we asked the messenger to be here too. But since they're not yet here, maybe I can ask this question to Kim Wong, Mr. Kim Wong. You said in your testimony na kulang pa, may natitirang pera sa Philrem. Is that correct?
Opo, Your Honor.
Magkano yung natitirang pera based on your testimony?
17 million something po.
$17 million, di ba?
Opo.
At saka yan, tugma na yan dun sa presentation ko rin in the previous hearings na parang may 17 million bang natitira sa kanya.
Opo, sir.
No? And you're saying na you did not receive that $17 million.
Hindi po.
Okay. But then you also said, on the first night that they delivered, di ba? Meron, magkano yun, yung first night? And what was the date? Just to remind everyone. February 5 ng gabi sa Soler.
Opo, February 5, 18 million pesos, tsaka 20 million pesos po.
Okay.
Cash po.
Correct, di ba? And for several days, ang total na nakuha mo sa kanila was 400 million pesos and $5 million. Is that correct?
Opo, plus yung 100 million nakuha sa Sore, plus 300 million, 400, plus 5 million US dollars.
Correct.
Opo.
So total 400 plus $5 million. Now,
Opo, sir.
And how many times was that? Ilang kayong beses? One in Soler, one happened in Soler, and 3 sa bahay nila.
Opo. 3 times po.
So 4 na beses yan, di ba?
Opo, sir.
Okay, now, on the first night, February 5, anong oras ng gabi yun?
Mga 7:30.
7:30.
Opo.
So binigay sa'yo 80 plus 20. Yung 20, sino nagbigay?
Si Maya po.
Si Maya nagbigay. Kaya may testimonya ka, yung kotse niya nandun, may letrato. Di ba?
Opo, sir.
Okay. And then you mentioned also, sinong kaharap mo? Kaharap mo ba si Concon o yung babae?
Ang una dumating po si Concon po.
Okay. Sino nag-abot ng 80 sa'yo?
Yung Concon kasi po, dumating mga magse-7 po. Dumating yung pera niya, mga 7:30 po. Tapos, yung tao niya po, dalawa.
Kasama ni Concon?
Opo. Tapos yung isang driver ko po, tapos hinati din niya ako, Soler po, malayo po yun eh. Tapos umakyat po sa second floor. Tapos doon binilang yung 80 million, tsaka 20 million. Binigay yung sa cage.
Sino nagbilang? Yung cage na mismo?
Hindi, ako mismo pumunta para
Correct.
inabot ang bundle-bundle lang po.
Correct.
Tapos, para yung 80 million, para makita sa harap ng tao ni Concon, 80 dala nila, so binilang bundle-bundle. So, 100 million po, pero hindi pa ho nila binilang isa-isa. Kumbaga, 100 million po, nakaano po.
Bundle.
Tapos si Ding po nandun, binigay ni Ding, ito yung account ilalagay mo sa pangalan ko. Si
okay.
Ding Shishi po.
Correct. Okay.
Opo.
Nandun ba si Weikan Shu?
Wala po.
Wala
po.
So on that first day, so ang testimonya dito kasi nung unang araw din ni yung asawa ni Concon, yung babae sa Philrem. Anong pangalan niya? Salud. Ang sabi niya, siya ang nagbigay sa iyo. So sinasabi mo hindi totoo si Concon mismo ang nagbigay.
Hindi, si Concon kasi po nagdala. Oo. Late na ho kami nagkita.
Okay. Nakita mo ba si Salud?
Opo.
So nandun din siya.
Late na ho siya dumating.
Late siya dumating.
Oo.
Pero
Nagpagkain na sa amin.
yung unang hearing kasi, hindi niya binabanggit si Concon. Ang binanggit lang niya, siya ang nagdala, and then in the succeeding, yung messenger niya. In fact, wala nga sinasabi sa bahay nila eh. Kayo na lang ang nagsabi sa bahay nila na tinanggap na rin nila sa bahay nila nangyari, yung iba. Di ba?
Opo, pero si Concon pong nagdala eh. Kasi may mga tao naman nakakita po yun.
Okay.
Opo.
Now, the next point is, maliwanag ba kay Concon na ang kausap nila talaga dyan, ikaw, hindi si Weikan Shu? Ibig ko sabihin, kasi meron sila resibong pinakita, di ba?
Ganito po sir. Kasi sabi ho nila Concon, yung 100 million, kanila lagay. So, sabi ni Gao, kailangan may recipient nila Concon kung sino. So sabi ko, Gao, pingin isang pang 100 million lang. So sabi ko kay Concon, na ito, pang 100 million lang, pesos lang po. Kasi isang balitang player lang po. O yun, tapos na, nagkaganon-ganon sila ni Ding tsaka ni Gao. Sabi ni Ding, akin mo na itong cash. Suppose we dapat dadalhin sa Maidas. Sabi ni Ding, hindi, gusto na namin maglaro na, kaya dinala sa taas. Opo.
Ang puntos ko dito,
Opo, sir.
Mr. Wong, is
Opo.
this, no? Gusto kong i-establish kung totoo bang may taong Weikan shoe.
Totoo po, may tao po si Weikan. So, player po ni Gao sa Maidas po.
Correct. Okay.
Opo.
Pero nung araw na yon sa Soler, nandun ba yung Weikan shoe?
Wala po. Marami ako ngayon nagtatanong sa akin, saan ba si Weikan Su? Sabi ko, hindi lang po nila nakita.
Okay. So, kasi dito sa resibo na pinapakita nila, na binigay sa committee, ang tumanggap daw si Weikan shoe. Yun ang sinasabi nila eh.
Hindi ko po alam yun.
So sinasabi mo na at least on that day, hindi totoo na wala si Weikan shoe doon sa Soler.
Yung sa araw lang po yun.
Yung 100 milyon.
Opo, wala po talaga.
Wala siya doon.
Wala po.
Okay. At nag-dinner pa kayo.
Opo.
Di ba?
Opo.
At sino magkasama sa dinner sa Soler?
Si Maya po, ako po, si Concon, tsaka si Mrs. Concon po.
So apat kayo.
Opo.
So alam nila talaga na ang delivery ay para sa iyo, para kay Ding ba yun o kung sino yun, Mr. Gao or whatever.
Actually po si Gao, tsaka kay Ding. Opo.
Tama.
Opo,
Okay.
sir.
At hindi si Weikan shoe.
Wala po. Sinabi lang po namin kasi na yung 100 million, kasi una-una, sabi ni Gao, para sa player niya, para makapag-umpisa. Kaya lang to si Ding, akin mo na yun, gusto namin yung daruhin kagad. So, kumbaga, parang siya ng recipient ng po, doon sa 100
So,
million
sa madaling
pesos.
salita, Mr. Wong, sinasabi mo, nagsisinungaling sila at they fabricated evidence, yun ba ang sinasabi mo, na meron dito resibo na nakapirma yung messenger na ito inabot to kay Weikan shoe. Hindi totoo yun. Kasi nandun ka. At least on the first instance.
Opo. Sinasabi ko lang po yung actual po, pero hindi ko alam po paano ginawa nila. Hindi ko po alam.
Okay. Tapos sa bahay nila, meron ka bang kasamang Weikan shoe nung pumunta kayo sa bahay nila para kunin yung ibang pera?
Wala po.
Wala rin.
Opo.
Not at any time.
Wala po.
Wala. So alam nila na ikaw talaga ang kausap in behalf of Gao o Ding o kung sino man yung
Pinapakuha lang po sa akin nila Ding
Pinapakuha,
ganito.
kaya nga,
Kasi kailangan daw nila yung
Tama.
yung pera po.
Okay.
Opo.
So, hindi totoo yung Weikan shoe.
Wala po.
Wala. Okay. So, para at least maliwanag yun, base sa testimonya ninyo. Kasi meron dito mga resibong pinakita na nakapirma yung Weikan shoe. So lumalabas nga dito, may nawawalang 17 pa. Dahil yung more or less na naka-entrust na sa Bangko Sentral natin, yung $4.6 million, yung 38 million pesos, may 107 million sa Soler, at merong pangakong 450 million na ibabalik kayo sa Bank of Bangladesh through the AMLAC, di ba? Yun ang nabanggit ninyo, no?
Opo, sir.
So, halos kalahati na yun eh. Noong 34 na kwenta natin nung nakaraan.
Opo, sir. Opo.
So, you stand by na may 17 million.
Kasi po, hinahanap din Ding tsaka ni Gao po yun eh.
Hanggang ngayon.
Hindi po, nung that time po, nag-awalo kami.
So, meron nagtago ng $17 million. Maliwanag.
Palagay ko po.
Sige. Okay, maraming salamat. Isang tanong na lang sa RCBC. I know that this is a difficult question to answer. But let me lead to that. No? How much was your profit last year?
Last year.
Yeah. 7 billion, more
It's
or
about
less?
5.2 billion.
5.2. So more or less, you make about 5 billion a year
Yeah, around that.
on the average. No? And the total assets is about half
We
Half a
ended
trillion?
we ended 2015 with 534 billion
Okay.
total assets,
And the total capital of RCBC is
about 56 billion.
56 billion. The market cap of RCBC is?
Probably around 40 to 45 billion today. I haven't looked at the stock price today.
Okay. But prior to this happening, what was the market cap of RCBC?
Probably a few billion higher than 40 to
More or less,
45
more or less.
Probably around 45 billion. Yeah. But
For-
you know, the best valuation, Your Honor, last year we brought in Cathay Financial Holdings from Taiwan,
Yes.
the biggest financial services group in Taiwan, and they valued the bank at around 90 billion pesos.
90 billion pesos. And market cap today or yesterday was what, 42 billion?
Around 40 to 45 billion, more or less.
So kung valuation-wise, you're 50% less of what it should be.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you've taken a hit because of this issue.
Well, you can see the fluctuation in
Yeah.
the
So
stock
on
price.
paper, you've lost 40, 50 billion on paper.
Well, it's not entirely because of this issue, Your Honor. I think
Yeah.
the general Philippine stock market corrected after May.
No, I understand all of that, no?
Yeah.
But it's significant. I mean, kahit papaano natamaan in that sense, ha?
Yes.
Now, assuming lang, just to put on record, no? If we're talking about $80 million and 30 million masasoole, assuming lang, natira 50 million. $50 million at roughly 2.2 billion pesos. Assuming that the RCBC gives this to the Bank of Bangladesh, your 5 billion profit minus 2.2, kita pa rin kayo ng 3 billion. And then maybe your market price will improve back to what it used to be. And you would gain from that anyway. And maybe your stock price will hit whatever value and you make the protocol corrections and maybe you can gain 90 billion more again. I have something for the board to consider, I suppose. I don't know. I'm not making a recommendation, but it just crossed my mind.
Well, you're correct, Your Honor. I think our business is an actuarial business. Again, we have 16 products or 16 services that we sell to every corporate or consumer customer. And we either lose money on bad loans, bad trades, or operational losses like this one. On the average, we provision 1 to 2 billion a year on those types of losses.
Correct.
No?
Correct.
So if we're found liable, yes,
Yeah.
you know, I would recommend to the board to
Yeah.
set aside a certain sum of money.
Correct, di ba? So thank you for the very candid response, and I hope you don't mind me asking that question.
It's okay, Your Honor.
Yeah, thank you. That will be good for your stockholders also anyway, I suppose. No? Okay. And then finally, with the BSP. To the BSP. The last hearing I asked, has this affected OFWs? Tumaas na ba yung cost nila? Let me add another question. No? Not only in terms of cost, but may delay na ba? Nahihirapan ba yung OFWs to transact with money remittance operators, to transact with banks para magpadala ng pera sa Pilipinas? Tumaas ba yung cost nila? Natatagalan ba? May delay na ba? Nahihirapan ba sila? Nabawasan ba yung banko that they can deal with? Nabawasan ba yung remittance companies that they can deal with? Tinamaan na ba sila, so to speak? Oh. First question, yes.
Mr. Chairman, on that point, my response then was, if we are going to directly attribute to this one right away, we are still monitoring that situation. But I explained that even before this happened, Mr. Chairman, we were already observing some closures of accounts of correspondent banks, which has
But not because of this.
not necessarily because of this.
So not because of our AMLA law.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think the way to appreciate that is these accounts were being closed down by some banks overseas, mainly because of their business assessment regarding the AMLA risk in the country. And for that, they consider...
When you say the AMLA risk in the country because our AMLA law is insufficient,
that is part of their...
and when you say correspondent banks, are you talking about foreign banks?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Not the local banks?
Not the local banks, Mr. Chairman. So because...
So it could either be of two things, di ba? They want the business for themselves.
Well, yes, that's why...
I mean, it's their business model. Ayaw nilang to deal with our own banks. Pinahihirapan nila yung bangko natin para yung negosyo mapunta sa kanila. That's one. Or two, if it's AMLA, because, you know, we can all see the threat of terrorism globally. So timing kasi ngayon eh. You have all these problems on terrorism in Europe. Diba?
That's right, Mr. Chairman. So these are possibilities.
Correct.
That's why...
but nothing related to this incident yet.
I don't think I'll be able
Okay.
to make that
Yeah.
strong conclusion at this point,
Correct.
Mr. Chairman.
No, because you said, my question is about this incident. May naramdaman na kayo. And your reply was, prior pa lang, meron na kami.
Yes, Mr.
Oh,
Chairman.
sige. Let's leave it at that at the moment. Okay? So that's one. Two, what about, so we discuss OFWs. What about the difficulties of our banks right now with regard to regular transactions, not necessarily OFW? Are they experiencing difficulty because of this issue? Muna, let's start with that.
Mr. Chairman, we do not see that
Walang
at this
ganon.
time.
Okay.
Our banking system is quite strong,
No,
Mr. Chairman.
I'm not talking about, I know that our banking system is strong. I'm talking about dealing with remitting foreign exchange outside coming in, here, going out. I mean, because of these issues that affected our banks, in so far as trade is concerned. Wala naman.
Anecdotally, we asked, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
and anecdotally, there's been some, what I would say, more questions are now being asked of our banks regarding the situation.
When you say more questions, what do you mean? Let's say a Filipino businessman is remitting money to the country, not necessarily an OFW. Does he have to fill up more forms?
No,
Is there delays? Are costs higher? Wala naman.
No, Mr. Chairman. What I meant was the counterparts of our local banks, they are revalidating their assessment that their relationship is still, they shouldn't be concerned about the anti-money laundering compliance of their
And you're saying that is
counterparties.
because of this incident?
I would say that that is a direct reaction of,
Direct
because this is a
reaction,
high
yeah.
publicity event,
Yeah,
Mr.
I
Chairman.
understand. And then prior to this, I've heard of complaints among our banks, and not necessarily because of the law, but the international regime in place today. Is that true? I mean, do any of our banks have difficulty right now? Not in terms of our banks, you know, I know that our banks are solid. I'm talking about in transacting with other foreign banks, may konti bang problema in that sense na mas maraming paperwork, mas maraming delays, or something to that effect? Wala naman.
Mr. Chairman, the factual answer there is that there has been some issues like that in terms of foreign banks wanting to limit, not all, some banks in some jurisdictions wanting to limit correspondent banking relationships with local banks. And the context of that
Yes.
is the broader concern about their own anti-money laundering compliance. You will recall that
get
some
it.
banks have been fined heavily, so they're
Got it.
being extra cautious. So
Okay.
any doubt, for example,
Okay.
they tend to overreact to this, Mr. Chairman, and this is what we are also arguing with at an international level for more reason in these matters, Mr.
I
Chairman.
get it. Okay. Thank you for that response. for my better understanding of the situation. At this point in time, Mr. Chairman, since Philrem is not here and the messenger is not here, I do not have further questions. Thank you very much to the candid responses of our resource persons.
Yes, thank you. Philrem, I see the lawyer is here. What happened to your clients?
Good morning, Your Honor. I was told Salud is on her way. I just came from court. Sorry for the delay. So I thought she would be here already, but I was said she was on her way. So maybe she'll be in a few minutes, Your Honor.
All right, all right. Is the yes, Deputy Governor?
Mr. Chairman, our SWIFT code expert is available at this point.
Okay, then can we have him? Her. Okay, thank you. Bakante po dito para hindi na magano si Deputy Governor. Dito na po. Okay, whatever. Sige. Please identify yourself, ma'am.
I'm Nenita Kadapan from Bangko Sentral ng Philippines.
Marisa
Nenita
Nenita
Kadapan from
Kadapan.
Bangko Sentral.
Okay, Bangko Sentral. What's your position in the Bangko Sentral?
Acting manager sa SSD 2 po, in charge ng SWIFT messaging.
Swift messaging. All right. Okay. Could you kindly tell us, dito sa Swift messaging, one of the issues that came out is that would a bank which is supposed to be familiar with Swift codes know that the Swift code, the sender, is a central bank and not just an ordinary bank?
Meron ho kasing mga SWIFT big code. So, pag nag-send po kayo using your big code, mag-appear din po kung saang bangko tsaka kung anong locality. So, yung ano po ng Bangko Sentral, PHCBP, pag nag-send po kayo, lalabas din po Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Manila. So, ma-identify mo po kung saan at sino yung na-registered na sa BIC na yon.
Paano po ulit?
Doon po sa BIC, meron hong 8 characters. BIC code po. Yun yung dinedesignate na code for an institution kung
kung sa tao yun, kung sa tao, pangalan yun.
Apo. Para ho kayo may code. So, binibigyan ho kayo ng code ng SWIFT kung nag-register kayo as a member. Tapos po, pag nag-send po kayo ng messages, mag-a-appear din po kung ano yung institution nyo, tsaka kung saan kayong locality. So iba po. Kunyari, Citibank po, Manila, Citibank, New York, may iba-iba po siyang big code.
Big code?
Opo.
BIG?
BIC po.
BIC? BIC?
Identifiers code po. Parang doon ka ma-identify na yun po yung gagamitin mo to make or to send messages.
And would banks ordinarily know if it's a central bank or not based on the BIC code?
Ano po, makikita po yung bank nyo kasi pag nag-encode po kayo ng BIC code, mag-a-appear din po yung bank tsaka kung saan locality, kung saan place.
And the receiver of the message from the sender would know.
Opo. Kasi pwede nyo rin no, kung hindi yung updated some big code po, hindi nag-a-appear. Kasi pwede ho kayo mag-extend ng 3 characters. For example po, yung sa Central Bank, PHCBP, pwede kayong maglagay ng international for specific na unit. So doon po, pwede nyong i-check. Pwede na hong i-google ngayon kung saan po siya naka-assign. So, if ever po na gusto mong i-identify kung saan yun galing, ma-check naman po, mabi-verify.
Hindi po. Pero based on the BIC code, the name, you would know if it's a central bank.
Apo. Pero some big code na hindi pa updated, hindi nag-a-appear po kung Bangko Sentral, Manila, hindi siya nag-a-appear. So, yung big code lang po. Pero na-accept po siya sa system.
I'm talking about Central Bank of other countries
Opo,
sending messages here.
makikita po.
Makikita at mare-recognize
Opo. Kasi naka-assign po siya eh. Opo, specific.
by the code.
Kunwari ho, yung Fed Reserve,
By the
Senator Sotto.
code, not the name.
opo, yung
So,
code po, ma-identify niya kung anong institution yun tsaka saang lugar po.
Would they know the code?
Opo, pwede pong
meron silang
malaman.
listahan doon?
Mr. Chairman,
pwede pong malaman.
I think
Senator Aquino?
what we're asking is, kung i-check mo, malalaman mo kung sino yun.
Opo, you,
Diba?
you will know. You can, it's
Yun nga.
verifiable
Pag chinek mo, malalaman mo kung sino. Pag hindi mo chinek, hindi mo naman siguro
Pero
authorized.
if you have a relationship, kasi bago po kayo mag-send ng messages, may relationship, hindi ho kasi kayo basta-basta makasend kung walang RMA. Yun ho yung parang relationship arrangement that you can receive and send messages to any institution na member po ng SWIFT.
Yeah, but if you have no relationship, then you receive a big code from a bank. Would you know that it came from a central bank, considering that you have no relationship?
Bali po kasi yung SWIFT, mag-instruct kayo sa isang bangko na meron kayong relationship na sasabihin nyo na kunwari po, MT-103 na nabanggit kanina. So, magbibigay kayo ng message instruction sa inyong bangko na bayaran itong beneficiary na ito na through an account. So, itong beneficiary pong ito, meron siyang account na babayaran ng Fed. If ever yung Fed Reserve Bank po yung may relationship kayo, katulad po ng in our case, Nostro Bank namin siya, ibig sabihin may account kami sa Fed, pwede namin pong mag-instruct sa Fed to pay a beneficiary through an account sa isang bangko dito sa Pilipinas. So, ang Fed po, hindi siya mag-execute ng payment to an institution na wala siyang account, wala siyang relationship, ganun po. So, yung authenticated po, ini-execute lang yun ng isang bangko na meron kaming account, ipupush through po niya yung execution ng payment. Basta authenticated.
Okay, that's a lengthy explanation, but
Sorry po.
okay. Yes, Senator Bam?
Kung wala ho kayong relationship, pwede ba kayong mag-send ng messages sa isa't isa?
Opo, yung yung free format, yung MT-999.
Okay.
Ano po siya, it's an authentic message, instruction, pero ano po siya, free formatted. So, ibig sabihin ho, ang difference ng authentic na message, authentic siya message, pwede ho siyang pumasok sa SWIFT, pero hindi siya authenticated. Ang authenticated po, i-execute niya
Okay.
yung instruction.
Just to be fair to RCBC, anyone from RCBC can answer, no? Do you have a relationship with Bank of Bangladesh?
No, we have never had any relationship with
That's
them.
why it entered into your system as the free form.
Well, 999 is not authenticated. But I was mentioning earlier, 192 would have been the stop payment or the request for cancellation of payment, which...
But they cannot do that because they don't have a relationship with Bank of Bangladesh. Is that right?
Yes, kasi 192 po, cancellation STP straight through. If you have nag-send kayo ng message na 103, you can cancel that instruction using the MT-192.
But only if you have a relationship with the other bank.
Opo.
In this case, you did not...
Since wala ho silang RMA with Central Bank of Bangladesh, ang option po niya yung free format.
Which is the 999.
Opo.
Okay. The other, Attorney Fernandez, the other messages that you received aside
Yes.
from the 999, I
Yes.
think you mentioned the one, there was a 192 and a 199.
There was a 192, but it did not pertain to any of these accounts.
Who did that come from?
Unidentified, but it's one. We received one MT-192, and it's not related to anything
Okay.
here.
It's not, it
Not
didn't come
related.
from the Bank of
I
Bangladesh.
just identified that it was part of the 790 emails that we
Okay.
received.
Your emails pertaining to the 5 fictitious accounts opened in RCBC Jupiter, What kind of message did you receive in the SWIFT internal system?
From the Bank of Bangladesh, we received the MT999.
Okay.
That's the not authenticated free format message.
Okay, just to make it clear, yung corresponding banks, kayo ma'am, you're the SWIFT expert, no? Yung mga corresponding banks po ng RCBC, I think in this case it was Citibank, Wells Fargo, if I'm not mistaken, and Bank of New York. Should they have been the ones to give the 192, the MT-192?
In our case, when we send, if you're the sending bank, kayo po yung nag-send ng instruction, you should be the one to send the cancellation instruction, the MT-192.
No, but in this case, wala naman silang relationship kay
Opo.
RCBC, so they could not send an 192. They could only send a 999. Is
Opo.
that right?
Pero authentic message din po yun. Dapat i-check din po. Kasi message, we use the free format if our counterparty needs additional information. So magagamit niyo rin po yun.
Does not mean na kung freeform ginamit mo, it's less persuasive.
Opo, kasi
It does not mean that.
Opo, it can provide additional information or pwedeng mga queries doon ka magano kasi free format po yun eh. Mas malaki yung fields niya na maglagay ka ng mga relevant information.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, on that note, I'm done. But on other questions I have na.
Pero na-establish ba na the Bank of Bangladesh could not have sent a 192 because they have no relationship?
192, authenticated po siya.
Yes.
So, dapat may RMA po kayo.
Dapat may?
Yung meron yung relationship na kapag establish yung kayo
So
ng
in this case,
management.
walang relationship. So they
Opo.
could not have sent a 192.
Hindi po. Tsaka yung 192 po, may reference siya na kailangan to cancel the message. Kailangan niya yung reference ng 103 na pinadala mo previously for that instruction to be canceled. So, hingi po siya ng mandatory na reference ng message na dapat i-cancel. So, if wala siyang previous message, hindi rin ho invalid din po yung 192.
Okay. Yes, RCBC.
Your Honor, just to also add, we never received any 192 from any of the correspondent banks. They did send 199s, but no 192, Your Honor.
Sorry, MT-103?
192. We never received any 192.
Walang canceled.
Okay, okay. In that case, I guess that's enough for the 192 and 199. Just to verify, you did reply to Bank of Bangladesh at what date? February 9, am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor. We replied at, I think, 3 o'clock in the afternoon of February 9.
It says here 2052, 8 o'clock.
I'm sorry, sir, I don't see the time, but we did reply on February 9. Our reply indicated, we acknowledge receipt of your notice. Acting on your instructions, we have placed on hold the remaining proceeds from the transactions which you have labeled doubtful transactions. This is without prejudice to additional information, notices, or instructions that may be received by the bank and which may be contrary to your instructions.
Nandito sa taas, nakalagay dito correspondent input reference, tapos nakalagay 2052. Can you see it?
Which account, Your Honor, are you looking at?
Your reply, you just read it.
Yes.
Transaction reference number RCBC 160209A.
Okay, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Is that 2052?
160209A, that's the transaction reference number.
That's the 16029, that's the date.
Yes, February 9.
Before that, it says 2052. That's the time.
I don't see it in my copy, Your Honor. I'm not sure what copy you have, but it's not in my copy, Your Honor. My copy says F20 transaction reference number RCBC-160209A. That's all.
Yes, we have the same. I don't know
don't
why
see the
yours
time.
doesn't have this.
This is. I don't have the time, Your Honor.
That
here. I don't
cannot
have
be.
those
We have the
numbers.
same reference number, the same.
I have the
This is your.
original-
That's your. That's from your
Yes,
bank.
Your Honor. Yes, this is the original document, Your Honor, from our bank.
Okay, let me just show you what I have so that then we'll get back to you. Moving on, we'll go back to you after you've examined it. I just want this issue cleared before we move on. I understand, Philrem is here, but it seems you are all alone. Where is Mr. Concon Bautista?
Sir, I'm sorry for being late. I just came from the hospital. I had to attend to my husband.
Your husband's in the hospital.
Yes, Your Honor.
What's wrong with him?
He has an acute stomach pain, so I had to talk to the doctor.
Okay. Where is your messenger?
Your
He
Honor,
also has stomach pains?
no, Your Honor, my messenger is not feeling well, but I have his affidavit with me.
Your messenger is not feeling well again.
Yes, Your Honor.
So every hearing he will be not feeling well.
I don't know, Your Honor. I hope not.
Okay, give your affidavit to the you really give us this feeling of evasion. A messenger not feeling well once during a hearing, maybe. But this is another hearing 1 week apart, and still your messenger is not feeling well again. At any rate, let's move on. We'll get back to you. My colleagues have been waiting for your presence, and they will be asking you questions. I just wanted one thing cleared. Let's go back to RCBC. Anyone, please. Who is Nancy Kyoge?
She is our regional service head, Your Honor.
When you say regional service head, that's head office, right?
Head office, Your Honor.
Okay, I have here a message. February 5, 2016, 6:18 p.m. Nancy Kyoge wrote, who is Sir Beng? Sir Beng, I called up Sir Mael, panay sir to, and he's asking if we can hold the crediting to the account first while he's trying to contact DSD Atoy and BM Maya. Thanks, Nancy Kyoge. Could anyone explain to me what this is?
Your Honor, there was an error in her term when she said she asked for the credit to be held. Because
Who is she? Sorry for interrupting,
Nancy,
but
Nancy
Nancy
Kyoge.
is writing to whom?
Nancy is writing to our
Who
Beng
is-
Eco. Beng Eco is a man, and he is in our operations group, Your Honor.
So it's head office talking from one department talking to another
Yes, Your Honor.
department.
From one group to another group. He's the deputy group head, Your Honor. And Nancy, there was a discussion on February 5 because our operations group, at the end of the day, when they saw that the amounts were rather large, they placed the accounts on hold. And they asked our...
Wait. They placed the accounts on hold?
At the end of day, Your Honor.
And you noticed that they were rather large.
At the end of the yes.
Yes, at the
Taken
end of the
together,
day.
yes.
In fact, this is at 6:18
Yes, Your Honor.
p.m., so that's end of day,
Yes, Your
obviously.
Honor.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
So our operations group contacted our retail branches, retail banking group, and advised them that they were putting it on hold until further information from the branch. And there were a series of calls made And by that time, Maya Deguito told two people that these are her long-standing clients. The funds had been awaited for over a year. The documents were all in order. And on the basis of that, several calls were made and the hold was lifted on that evening, Your Honor.
The hold was lifted because?
Yes.
Because?
Because of the misrepresentations of Maya Deguito, Your Honor.
What were the so-called the alleged?
She basically said that these were her long-standing clients and that their documents were in order and that they had been waiting for the funds for a long period of time.
Long-standing clients,
They had been
documents
waiting
in
for the
order.
funds, and they had been waiting for the funds for a long time.
For a long
Mr.
time.
Chair,
Yes, Senator Sotto.
just on that point, I was just told about this. Is it true that the practice in bank treasuries is to have phone conversations recorded?
For trades, Your Honor, yes, it's the
Yes, to
practice.
backtrack in case there
Yes,
is a
Your
dispute,
Honor.
di ba?
Yes.
So are these phone conversations that you're
No,
talking about recorded?
Your Honor, they're not.
Why not?
Well, they're not trades, so it's not covered. And I would assume that many of the calls were made using a mobile phone because of the time.
So this practice is no longer feasible?
We record conversations on landlines, and this would pertain to trades or orders, but not pertaining to a discussion of this nature. And I am almost certain that the phones used were mobile phones, Your Honor.
Even in the case of the branch and in these transactions with
I'm not
the
sure
account
what.
holders of Go, Vasquez,
I have no idea on those, Your Honor.
Can
Maybe
you look into
Maya
that?
is the better person.
can you look into that?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Then I have another. Yeah, 6:22 p.m. Sir Loreto, this is a valid remittance. BM, I suppose, is branch manager. Should coordinate with clients on the nature of this inward. And we have to make sure that these accounts pass through the proper KYC procedure. Please call Atoy and let them decide if we hold the credit or not. What do you mean by the hold the credit or not?
The term is so carelessly used, Your Honor. The credit has been done. It's to hold the account or not. So at that point, they were already, if the sender of that is Nancy Kyoge, Your Honor, they were discussing if the account
Yeah, the sender, I'm sorry, it's Nancy Kyoge.
if
Yeah.
the account should be held, given KYC considerations, given that the amounts were large. Basically, the boots on the ground would be the branch. And so questions would then be referred to the branch to ask what kind of accounts are these. Because an amount in itself, even if large, may be justified under different circumstances. That's why there's always a need to refer to the branch, Your Honor.
Yes, but then you just admitted you do have the power to hold. The thing is, you did not hold this because you said the representation of the branch
Your
manager said
Honor.
that basically it's all right.
It would be hold.
But if the branch manager
Yes.
did say, you know, there's something wrong with this,
Yes, yes.
then you would have been
Yes.
able to hold.
Yes, Your Honor. It's a temporary hold that we exercise. Our system and processes provide for that, Your
You
Honor.
would be able to make a
Yes.
temporary hold.
Yes.
And you did notice that it was a large amount. That's why
We did.
these emails were.
Our processes are in place, Your Honor. It just so happened that our branch manager gave us wrong information and
What
unfortunately,
would you?
that's what
Okay. What would you have done had the branch manager told you there's something wrong with this? So you would, of course, should put
Yes.
it on hold. Then what else? What else would
Then
you
we
have
would
done?
have called the account holder as well as the sender. And we would have found out what's happening. But in this case, it's really the account holder yet. There was no information or anything from Bangladesh at this time. We would talk to them, verify what is wrong, what is this for, can I see your KYC documents, a very detailed process. That is the proper procedure. that
In
should
other words,
happen.
you'd have your own parang investigation of.
Yes, by the branch, assisted by the levels above the branch.
But you're saying now because of the representations of the bank manager, basically she said, "Hey, these accounts are all right." Then you did
The
say,
hold was lifted, Your Honor.
"Sorry."
The hold was lifted.
Yes, yes.